lovelies, thank you so much for clicking on my video. You are welcome to my channel. As always, I appreciate all your love and your support. If you are clicking on a video for the first time and seeing my face, thank you for clicking. I'd appreciate it if you will subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red button there and then click on the notification bell, so anytime I upload another video, you are going to be among those that will see it first. Today, I want to talk about how my life has changed, how my perspective and everything really has changed ever since I entered my 30s. I want to give you 5 things that I just realized of late has changed about me. And it was because I realized that for the past maybe weeks, it has been happening more often than not now. People calling me auntie, and I'll look at them, I'll be like, this one, how many years I take senior you first? But I realized that the days are counting. The days are counting, and as they say, time waits for no man. And I thought about it. This June that just passed now, it means that I have left secondary school for 20 years. 20 years ago, I was in SS3 in FGGC Bauchi, and today here I am. Yeah, I left secondary school at the age of 27, at the age of 17, and it's 20 years, so I'm 37. I'm well into my 30s, and the first thing I want to talk about how things changed for me as soon as I entered my 30s is that my body began to act strangely, in that I don't have the energy that I used to have in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I could get up and do whatever I want, but nowadays, frankly speaking, sometimes even my knees, my joints, I know it has to do with my weight, but that's just the way it is. They will begin to pain me, and I feel like an old woman. If you look at my hair, you'll see that I'm even graying gradually. Graying is something I got from my mom. My mom began to gray in her early 40s, and I'm 37 right now. So I think the graying part is welcome anyway, because I think people who get gray while they are young are very sexy. My husband is very, very gray. If you see him, he's all white, and I find it very cute, okay? But I find my body now that it is not as fast, it is not as, as it was. It needs exercise, it needs me. Because of that now, I have to eat healthy. I'm very intentional about what I put in my mouth and that kind of thing. Because all these things, they say our metabolism begins to slow down at that age. And I'm beginning to take all this out of that. The second thing that changed about me in my 30s is that I am more politically aware than I was in my 20s. Back in my 20s, I used to be like these old people, politicians, they're going to sort themselves out. But now I have children, and I realize that the decisions that politicians make can have long-lasting effects on me and my children. Maybe for the next 10-20 years, there's a policy that my children will have to come and live with. So I am very, very intentional about the kind of person that I empower with my vote or with my support to go and become a policymaker, to become a legislator, to become a governor, to go to the House of Assembly, to be whatever, to be in a position of authority. Not so much for my sake, but because I find that I am looking ahead. How will my children, to live a better Nigeria really for my children, to live a better world for my children? I am concerned about the environment. When they talk about carbon emissions, global warming and all those things. So are we not supposed to do something to give our children a better planet than we were given? Or at least, there's a saying in Africa, they say, a God that cannot improve our lot should at least leave us the way he met us. So therefore, if we cannot improve the planet, let us at least leave it like that. Let it not be worse for our children. I am intentional. When I see people cutting trees, I find myself going to talk to them. You don't cut trees. That kind of thing. I just find that I am so concerned about my environment. I'm very politically aware. That's the second thing that I realized has changed about me. Now that I'm in my 30s, point number 3. I do not care that much about what people think about me anymore. There was a time I was bothered about people's opinion about me, but right now, it's none of my business. As a matter of fact, I once made a post on Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook with the same name on this channel, Ajalah Upfront. I said, anything you want to say about me, say it. As we say in Pidgin English in Nigeria, now you get your mouth if you take a chop shit. right? Say whatever you want to say about me. There was a time I was bothered. I would say something like, as long as what you are saying is true, then. But right now, frankly speaking, I'm very comfortable with people talking about me behind my back. I don't care what people use their productive time to do. The only time I will bother about that, and I just came about this maybe a few years ago, I decided that it's not everything that should fly. So if you are being intentionally malicious, you spread untrue stories about me to the point where I lose something pecuniary. I mean, like I lose a job, or I lose a business, or I lose a contract, or my reputation in the eye of right-thinking members of the society is eroded, then you are going to have to see me in court. I am going to go and sue you. Okay, so that's the third thing that I realized about myself. And I find that I'm not too bothered about what people say or think about me, unless that thing that you went and said about me cost me something, in which case we will see in court. Then again, I realize now that I'm in my 30s, I am bothered about my craft, that which I do. I want people to know me as somebody who does that thing and who is good at it. Okay, because right now I don't have the time, the energy, or the inclination to go about trying to impress people, except if I am impressing them with my craft. And if you do not know of YouTube, apart from YouTubing, I'm actually a lawyer. Okay, and I love it when people give me referrals and they say, no, if you are looking for somebody to handle matrimonial courses, look for Ajalah. And I am very, very good. My next video is actually going to be something about matrimonial courses, and it's going to have a lot to do with law. Okay, so yes, I find that now that I'm in my 30s, I am very particular about that. I want people to know me as somebody who is good at her craft, and I am putting in my very, very best at it. Another thing again that I find has changed about me is that I am intentional about who I spend my time with. Actually, I enjoy my solitude, and that's a gift I have had for a very long time. Even before then, I could sit down in my room and I will be in my room for a whole day, as long as I have a good book. Or nowadays with the internet, I have an internet enabled device, I have food, I can still be in my room alone for up to a week. But now I am intentional about the people I spend my time with. I do not joke with my time at all. It is very, very costly to me, so I don't joke with it anymore. I don't want to go about just spending time with people for the fun of it. I prefer to just be in my room and read a book. If my children are with me, then one of the perfect ways I want to spend my days is by sitting down in front of the television and watching TV with my children, even Peppa Pig, Disney Channel, no, PBS Kids. I don't let my children watch Disney Channel because it teaches superstition, but that's just my opinion. I watch PBS Kids with them. Everything I know about dinosaurs, I know from PBS Kids, and I enjoy it. I'm very intentional about the kind of people I spend my time with. And you know, before then, another thing that has changed is that I used to think that there was nothing, you know, all this forgive people, but I have gotten to a point where there are some things I cannot forgive. Yes, and I think everybody should come to that realization. If you have not gotten to, just realize that there's a point where you should draw boundaries. When people do things for you, do not let them get away with it if you can. The number one thing that I find to be unforgivable is disloyalty. If I am loyal to you as a friend, then I expect that loyalty and nothing else. If you are disloyal to me, I'm not going to take it from you. I'm just going to draw a line, and that is the end of that kind of friendship. As we say, kawaya kari. Kawaya kari kawe. I'm not going to continue to be friends with somebody who is disloyal, because you are going to give me the Judas Act. The second thing that I consider to be unforgivable, frankly speaking, I think maybe Jesus can forgive that, you know. Jesus, there's nothing he cannot forgive. But me, I'm not Jesus. I don't have that godly spirit. I cannot forgive cruelty to children or animals. And that's just me. I hate, there are people who organize dog fights, or just like that, you start beating a dog just because it is a dog, or cruelty to children. Oh my Lord, I hate that thing in my life. We have to have more empathy. And that's just me. You can do whatever you want with your fellow adults, but children should be loved, protected, and nurtured at all costs. It's just something that I cannot get off my chest when I see people beating their children or beating someone else's children, especially if you are a step parent or you're an auntie, you are the guardian of a child, then you refuse to give the child food, God forbid. And it's terrible because we live in a country where the vulnerable ones among us are not well protected, and that's not nice at all. So people do these kinds of things and get away with it. I cannot get away, I cannot forgive it at all. That is just me. I think I could go on and on about these things, but the 30s are really a very fantastic time to be alive. And then again, money. I find that I am very intentional about my money nowadays. I want to know what I'm spending my money on. Is it worth the trouble or not? And again, I'm doing it for the sake of my children, not so much because I want to get rich, but because I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to leave a leverage for them so that they will start life on top of something that I gave them to start life with. Thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it. What do you think about these things? If you are in your 30s, is that really happening to you as well? Let me know in the comment section. I'd really appreciate it. And if you stayed with me till the end, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Like, comment, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.